I never expected that a simple bank notification would unravel my entire world. It was an ordinary evening, the kind where the day's exhaustion had settled into my bones, and I was just about to unwind with a cup of tea. My phone buzzed on the coffee table, and I glanced at it absent-mindedly. The notification was from our bank, a transaction alert. At first, I thought nothing of it. Julia and I shared a joint account, and she often handled the finances. But as I read the details, my heart skipped a beat. The amount was substantial, far more than we usually spend in a single transaction, and the recipient's name was unfamiliar. Logan. My stomach churned as I stared at the screen, trying to make sense of it. Who was Logan? And why had Julia sent him such a large sum of money? Curiosity quickly twisted into dread. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe it was a mistake, a miscommunication. But deep down, I knew something was wrong. I couldn't shake the feeling that this was more than just a financial anomaly. That night, I waited for Julia to come home, my mind racing with questions. When she finally walked through the door, her usual cheerful demeanor seemed forced, her smile not quite reaching her eyes. I confronted her immediately, holding up my phone with the transaction details. "Julia, what is this?" I asked, my voice trembling with a mix of anger and fear. The air between us grew thick with tension. She hesitated, her eyes darting away from mine, and in that moment I knew. She didn't even try to deny it. Her voice was steady, but her hands fidgeted nervously as she confessed. "I've been seeing someone," she said, her words slicing through me like a knife. "His name is Logan. I love him." Her admission hit me like a punch to the gut. I felt the ground beneath me crumble, my world shattering into a million pieces. How could she stand there and tell me she loved someone else, as if our years together meant nothing? The days that followed were a blur of pain and anger. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her face, heard her voice saying those words. I felt betrayed, humiliated, utterly broken. But amidst the chaos of my emotions, one thing became clear. I couldn't stay with her. I couldn't continue living a lie with someone who had so easily dismissed our vows. The decision to leave was agonizing, but it was the only way I could begin to heal. I filed for divorce, and though it felt like I was tearing apart the life I had built, there was also a strange sense of resolution. I was choosing myself, my dignity, over the facade of a marriage that had already crumbled. Julia, on the other hand, seemed unfazed. If anything, she appeared relieved. With a newfound sense of freedom, she embraced a relationship with Logan, leaving me to grapple with the fallout on my own. I threw myself into work, into taking care of our kids, trying to piece together some semblance of normalcy. But the pain was always there, lurking beneath the surface, a constant reminder of what I had lost. 3 months passed, and I began to feel like I was finally finding my footing. The wounds were still fresh, but they were no longer bleeding. Then, out of the blue, Julia showed up at my door. I wasn't prepared for the sight of her. She looked different, hollow, defeated, a shadow of the woman I once knew. Her eyes were red-rimmed, her shoulders slumped as if the weight of the world was pressing down on her. She told me that her relationship with Logan had crumbled, that he had moved on to someone else. She was desperate for forgiveness, pleading with me to take her back. "The kids need their mother and father together," she said, her voice breaking. "I need you." My heart ached at the sight of her anguish. Despite everything, I still cared for her. But deep down, I felt a weariness that weighed heavily on my soul. I couldn't just become her fallback option, the safety net she turned to when her new life fell apart. I had fought through the pain of her betrayal, and opening that door again felt like inviting more heartache. I told her firmly that she was the one who had destroyed our family, that she had made her choice and now had to live with the consequences. The resentment bubbled up as I recalled the moments of betrayal, the nights spent alone while she was with someone else. I couldn't forget and I couldn't forgive. With that, I walked away for good. I blocked her number, feeling a strange mix of relief and sadness. She sent me a dramatic text about her regrets, but I couldn't let myself be swayed. I chose to focus on rebuilding my own life, free from the chaos she brought into mine. It wasn't easy. There were days when the loneliness felt unbearable, when the memories of what we shared threatened to pull me under. But I held on, reminding myself that I deserved better, that I deserved honesty and respect. Time passed, and I learned that Logan had already moved on to another relationship. The irony was not lost on me. Julia's whirlwind romance had been nothing more than a fleeting escape. I felt a sense of relief wash over me. No longer was I ensnared in her problems. And for the first time in months, I could see a glimmer of hope for my future. I focused on my kids, on creating a stable and loving environment for them. Slowly but surely, I began to rebuild my life, one piece at a time. It wasn't the life I had envisioned, but it was mine. And for the first time in a long time, I felt like I was moving forward, not looking back.